Hey everyone, it's Jim
and Charles
from Amps, and in this episode we're going to finally start building. So go ahead and grab all of your blue junctions. There should be 2-part and 3 parts, and we're going to fit them all onto the 2 PCBs. We'll start with the small Alps PCB. Now, all components need to be examined before you install them, just to check to see if they need any prep, and these are closed. So we've got to back out the screws. A nice narrow slot will do the trick. If you don't have a narrow slot, you can actually make one. So this has actually been filed down, or you can take the shoulder off on a belt sander so that it fits. Often you got to modify your tools even for the particular task at hand. Now, for years I wondered why the heck do manufacturers ship these closed, until I got a large order in and a few of them hadn't been closed, and guess what? The hold downs can actually fall out. So now I finally know why. So you got to get in here and you got to make sure that hold down or tab is pushed up so that it's actually ready to receive a wire. So it's like that. And yeah, it's boring, but it's got to be done.
So we're going to go ahead and do that with the rest of these, and we'll see you back here in just a second.
Okay, so we finally have everything prepped. Let's see if we can just get them all on the board. Now, I'm not going to say this too often, I hope, but one of my favorite mistakes, and I hate it, is that I get rolling and then I forget to pay attention to what side the component goes on. So you can see these are clearly marked. It'd be really hard and stupid to put them on the back side, but believe it or not, I've managed to do it. The Alps pot in particular has got a really clear note on the board.
I don't know if we could have made it any more clear than that.
Somebody will put the Alps pot on backwards, which will probably mean it'll have to be shipped back to us to be desoldered. But anyways, so just pay attention and go ahead and get everybody loaded on the board, and then I'll show you a little trick. We haven't used it before, but we're going to see if we can do these all at the same time.
Yeah, now if you have built one of our other kits previously and you have one of your little alligator clippers, you can use that method for this, at least this part of the board, but this is just easier.
We hope.
Ta-da!
There we go. Okay, so I'm not going to show you methodology. You all know how to solder. Just bear in mind that whenever you see heavy traces anywhere near what you're soldering to, you may have to bring your temperature up. And in this case, there's a couple, what is essentially the ground connections of the circuit. You can see we've got some very heavy traces coming through. Those will soak up the heat of your soldering iron. So what I would recommend you do is you come in at your regular, fairly hot temperature and do all of the legs that don't have the heavy traces, and then bring your temperature up a little bit and come in hot, and very fast. So get on and get off, and just make sure you're sitting flat. And yeah, okay, hop to it, and we'll see you back in a minute. Okay, so let's just take a look and see how that looks. Going in really hot on the heavy traces, hot and fast, worked really well. For some reason, if you don't go in hot enough on a really heavy trace, and you fail and you try to come back, it just doesn't take that well. I don't know why, but you've got to have the right approach, the right level of heat. So these are all sitting just like that. Now, at this stage, we would put the four gang Alps pot on. But if you're not 100% into the groove of soldering, or you're a little tired, put this aside and tackle this a little later in the build. But we'll do it now because, yeah, we're ready to rock and roll. So place the Alps pot here. Now, even though these pins are protected, sometimes there's a small amount of misalignment, so don't force anything. If it doesn't go on the board nicely, then just take a look. And I'm looking down, from my point of view, I'm looking down along the edge, and just really gently come in there and just straighten stuff up. It doesn't take much, so don't go hard at it. These are expensive pots, so we want to get these on properly and not make a mess. So place Alps pot here. Yeah. And there we go. You want to make sure it's sitting nice and snug. And in fact, before we do this, let's just loosen off the screw that we're going to use for the ground connection. And I'll be right back as soon as I find a screwdriver. Okay, and you might see that there's some notations on the back, and that's because it's really important that I match up the sections. I'm aiming for a differential of less than 1K between sections, and all of your pots should be like that. So I'm just going to loosen this up. It'll just make it a little easier later on when I have to pull it. When you're building, always try to think ahead. But you guys, you should know what you're doing. So I'm going to use a very tiny amount of flux, and I'm going to actually show the whole process because getting these pots on is slightly tricky. And you can't really recover from a mistake easily. It's not. We have professional grade desoldering pumps, but not everybody has equipment like that, and it's just not easy to clean these up if you muck it up. So.
And the Alps pot won't survive a lot of excess heat, so you want to turn down a little bit. We're running around 375. And be fairly quick on the pins.
Yeah, so we're 375C, and we actually have to find our little note. I'll be right back as soon as I find it. Okay, I'm not normally going to call out soldering temperatures except when we're at a tricky spot. And like Charles said, it's important that you match the temperature to the component. And the smaller and more delicate the component, the closer to a lower temperature you want to get. But obviously you don't want to be so low you're not flowing solder. So,
and it also matters what's on the board itself. So just like with those really big, thick ground traces, if you have something like that on a small component, you may have to turn it up a bit.
So I just cleaned my tip off on my nice metal sponge. So I'm going to come in at 375C, which is about 700 Fahrenheit for my iron. Now I got a lot of mass because I have this huge tip. If you have a smaller tip, you probably need to go in a little hotter.
And you should try and tack one corner on one side and one corner on the other, and then just give it a quick look and make sure it's seated all the way down.
So remember to press fairly hard or you don't get good heat transfer. So I think that's about a second total, start to finish, maybe 2 seconds. And I like to actually, if a component is sitting tight to something, and I can, actually as I'm finishing up, I like to actually push down or tighten something up so that it's sitting nice and snug. And if you take a look at this, we've got a little gap. And so what we'll do in this case is we're just going to come along and we're just going to heat up that pad. And we're going to press down.
And this doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be fairly even. There's wiggle room. And that looks like it's actually just part of the Alps chassis itself.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to come down even a little tighter. So I'm going to actually come in here and... yeah, actually that's it. That's as close as she goes. Okay, so no more fooling around. So actually there will be a little gap around. So don't mess with that. Okay, and now, because we don't want to put a lot of heat on the whole trace all at once, we're going to hopscotch our way around. So we'll probably do this pad on the outside here, this pad on the outside here, this pad over here. It doesn't really matter, just so long as we just do one pad at a time, because we've got one channel, one channel, one channel, one channel. Yeah, it's busy. Okay, I think you know what you're doing. hop to it, everyone. Okay, and as soon as I finish soldering, I always do a visual inspection to see the quality of the solder work, and I do my reworking now. If I'm not happy with something, I'll come in quickly and fix it. And this is what this board should look like, and it's basically done and ready to install with this one exception. So let's get the ground strap on and then it'll be finished. Okay, so I've made up a little ground strap, and it is just a little over 60 millimeters or 2.5 inches. That's slightly long, and we're going to install it here, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's finished.
Yeah, just to make sure, we have a couple of different kinds, different sizes of this yellow-green hookup wire, and this is the thinner of the two in the larger roll, and you'll need a little bit of green shrink and of course a little eyelet crimped on there.
Okay, let's get it installed. Okay, these are really long screws because it's a 4-gang pot, so you might need to apply a little bit of a lever to just help pull the screw back as you turn it, and then it'll come free. So just a little stiff. It's still a little stiff, but it'll come. Look at the size of that little guy. I think it's an M2.5. Anyways, okay. I'll get this installed and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's all done. Okay, so that's what the ground strap looks like. Don't over tighten these machine screws. They are only M25s. As soon as it's snug and it's not wiggling around, you're done. This is the ground point that you want to bring it to. On this side here, you can see the trace actually goes, and it'll link up to the standoff that comes through. So yeah, so that's all there is to that. Let's go and grab the main PCB and we can finish this up. Okay, so let's get all the blue junctions onto the main PCB, and these actually can join up, so they're really cool. There's a little bar that slides in, and sometimes they're a little stiff, but just get them in so they're nice and lined up, and then we'll have a 3-gang.
And we're going to need 2 of these.
Yep. And they'll go over here. So what we're going to do is, and make sure you observe which way, you see the little scallops? That tells you which way the openings are. And what we're going to do is we're going to get one of these on, and we're going to use something to space it off the board. We're getting close to needing the build stands, but we want to get these on first because we want to use the table. And this is a little fussy, so Charles isn't going to edit this part out. And I'll just bring it to the edge here so I can slip it on. And then we'll get our little spacer over here in the corner so that it'll sit. And I'm going to need another one over here. Yeah. Okay, finally, we're ready. So, okay, so go ahead and solder that on, and I'll meet you back in a minute.
And just like with the Alps, tack on one side, then the other, check your fit, and then come back in and finish it up.
Okay, so we've got these on nice and tight, and now we're going to get to the fun bits. So we've got one up here, and that's going to go on normally, and we've got one over here that'll go on normally, but there's one here. If you look here, this is the central star ground point for the entire preamp. And what Charles has done is he filled in the tracing so that we have one large ground plane of basically metal. Well, it's copper here. So this will suck the heat right out of your soldering iron, and you know it'll be as cold as bath water in a few seconds. So what we need to do with this particular one is we're going to come in as hot as your iron can go. We're going to get on really quick, and we're going to get off really quick. Okay, hop to it, everyone. Okay, so we've got that tricky one with all that copper, heat-absorbing copper. We've got my iron turned up almost as hot as it can go, which is 475 C, 475 or 890 Fahrenheit. It can go a little bit more, but not much. And I've got a nice little bit of flux on here. I'm going to really make sure I can get in and get off really fast. Or you always risk damaging the trace or the components. So I'm pressing quite hard, and I'm filling, holding, and it didn't work. You see that? So watch this now. I'm just going to bring the soldering iron back down, and I'm still having trouble. So there we go. You're going to find that this is going to be probably the hardest thing on the board to solder. And there we go. So what happened on the second one, and I'm just going to take that nubbins off with my snip. What happened on the second one is I actually held my iron a little longer before I brought the solder, and then it flowed better. The first one required basically reheating. So yeah, so
there's also more heat already in the ground plane from the first one, since they're right next to each other.
So I'm just going to, because I pulled a little bit of solder as I came away with my iron, you can see how the heat just gets sucked right off of the iron tip. And yeah, so that's how you do it. And let's take a look at what everything looks like. Let's back out and make sure in particular you've got everybody facing in the right direction. So easy to get them backwards. Okay, we were actually going to put the fuse holders on to finish up this episode, but it turns out that the diodes should go on first. So we're going to hold off on the fuse holders until we get the diodes in, and then once they're in, we can go ahead and get the fuse holders in as well. Okay, well done everyone. So the build has started, and we're going to move quicker and quicker as things go along. But remember, take your time, and if you're feeling a little bit tired, just turn off the soldering iron and give the bench a rest for the day. And when you come back, you'll be much fresher and ready to do your best work. Okay, cheers everyone.